What's up, everybody? This is Bems.
And this is Ace. And welcome to Serving Up the Tea. It's season 2, guys.
Deuce, baby. So excited to be back.
Yep.
I feel like so much has happened. I don't even know where to begin. But let's start with what's tea?
Whew. As you know, big Ostapenko fan over here.
Definitely.
She's a lot of cool people's fave, actually.
Like Lil Wayne?
Lil Wayne. And then there was someone else behind the downstairs of the Australian Open, like under the stadium, that like greeted her.
Really?
Like a celebrity.
Oh, Jackie Chan.
Yeah, he was like, you.
But apparently he's like bad luck or something.
Oh, God.
It's like a well-known fact that like if Jackie Chan touches you and you're competing in something, you're going to lose.
The tea is that...
And it came true.
It came true in her singles. But then Ostapenko can tell us that she's only playing doubles for practice, but then has swept the Australian Open. And then also come to claim the Abu Dhabi Mubadala Open 500 level tournament with her doubles partner.
She didn't win the Australian Open. Siniakova and Townsend won the Australian Open.
They did.
Yeah.
But she made it to the final, which was still not giving. I'm just here for practice.
Yeah. She played in the Australian Open with Shui.
Yeah. Why did you tell me that 2 minutes ago when I said this thing?
When did you say that?
Just now when I was in the car.
I literally didn't hear you say that. I only heard you talk about Abu Dhabi and I said I wasn't watching it. I didn't hear you say anything about it.
Because then the whole thing was that she
and that's when I said I thought she was playing with...
Yeah.
We can't say her name, but...
It's like the breathing. I have to breathe different to say her name.
Got it.
So in a sentence, very hard to do.
But yeah, she's doing well since she separated from Kitchener.
I mean, she did well with Kitchener, but like...
I think it was the relationship broke down at the end there.
Oh.
Like they were not...
I mean, her current doubles partner said that there's no I in team, but there's an I in Ostapenko because she was doing her own thing on the court, despite being part of a duo. Yeah. Which is very Ostapenko when we think about it.
But it worked, I guess.
It worked. They won. I'm glad she's still able to pay her bills because she's been exiting round 1 for a few singles tournaments.
Yeah.
What's tea for you?
Tea for me, and I am going to put my hands up and say that this is probably going to come across as me sounding like a hater. And I'm happy to wear the hater crown in this particular instance. But Belinda Bencic came back 100 days ago at the ITF level. She gave birth less than a year ago, and she won Abu Dhabi.
And she's working her way up. She also had a run to the round of 16 in the Australian Open.
That's true. And I just want to say, this is what I want from Naomi Osaka. This is what I want for Naomi. Like, God, I see what you're doing for others. I would like you to do it for Naomi.
No shade to Bencic. Love that she was able to hold that trophy with her daughter in her hand.
That was very cute.
That was so cute. And then her husband back.
Oh yeah, that was so cute. Like, no tea, no shade. It's lovely for her. I would like it to also be lovely for Naomi.
We
do you know
also
what I mean?
want Naomi to...
Like, I want her to... She's played some really impressive matches against top opponents. Iga Świątek at the French Open. She beat Ostapenko first round at US Open as well.
Yeah.
I think for the first time since 2022, she was back in the third round of a Grand Slam when she beat Garcia, which was also a bit poetic because I think Garcia took her out the year before.
Yeah. Now
back to number 42 in the rankings.
She's doing okay.
But she has some persistent injuries that I think are really hampering her style. And I hope that she's able to overcome them or find a way to play through them or whatever. But ultimately, I really, really, really need to see Nay with the title. Yeah, with the title.
We needed 500 level or more.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even mind a 250, to be honest. I wouldn't mind a 250.
I want house.
Because you know she made it to that final and had to retire. What?
I would also like to add that every pregnancy is different.
For sure.
So Nay seems to be dealing with abdominal injuries each
lower
time.
Back as well,
lower back, which could be pregnancy related. We don't know, but
postpartum for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my tea.
We just want our girl to win.
I just want to see Nay holding her baby and holding a trophy.
It's going to be such Shy. Her name is Shy, right?
Sky. Right?
I thought it was Shy. SHAI.
Is Sky the name of
Sky is
Fils and Bergs?
yes.
Correct.
Oh, Citalina, my girl.
All right, well, let's get into some match point musings. My main musing this week is Iga Świątek.
If we had a donkey of the day button on my laptop, I would be pressing it right now. Because this morning I saw them pull up the footage of Iga like acting crazy at the Australian Open again.
When she was shadow swinging?
Shadow swinging,
Wow.
just like crashing out. Crashing out. Her and Drake.
Treacherous twins.
Crashing out.
My thing about Iga is I haven't always disliked her. I have to be honest. Like, at first it was like, oh gosh, this girl just always wins. Like, she can't stop winning. And then it was like, she's actually a little unsportsmanlike. And then it was like, she's actually quite annoying. Because, she's a really big Taylor Swift fan, as am I. So I was like, oh, we have this in common. Like, cool, we can relate on this. But as the years have gone by, and as I've continued to watch Świątek, I've recognized that I just really don't like her at all. I don't like her style of play. I don't like her attitude. I don't like her gamesmanship. I don't like her fan base that much. I feel like they're very...
strange, to say the least.
Not strange, but I feel like they're one of those fan bases that it's not enough for them to support their player. They want to bring down other players. Do you know what I mean?
In the process.
Yeah, they can be very anti-Sabalenka, very anti-Coco, very anti-Rybakina. And I'm just like, you don't have to be so nasty online to these people. I mean, let me not say it's not her whole fan base, obviously, but she has one of those like Joko-adjacent fan base.
Yeah,
where
they feel like they need to defend and overcompensate.
And be really nasty to others, yeah. WADA has decided not to appeal her doping case.
Wait, so what does that mean?
So she's good. Like, it is what it is.
Oh, damn.
The original 1 month ban or whatever stands, and that's all she's going to face. Still waiting to hear back on Yannick from WADA, but yeah, that is interesting to me.
What was it that happened at the United Cup where, like, it was against Coco, but then we got that iconic moment of Danielle Collins rolling her eyes at Iga? Because then, that's a team event. So if you do something to my girl on my team...
I'm going to back it up.
Literally. And I feel like Danielle Collins is the big sis in that situation. So she was like, not Coco.
Not too much on my girl.
Not Coco. And then now everyone's like, oh, why does Danielle Collins not like Iga Świątek? And she stood on it. She posted it on Instagram. She was like, yes, I did. And...
Iga Świątek and Danielle Collins obviously have their issues. I think that became very apparent from the time Danielle Collins had to retire in that match against her. I think it was Olympics. Was it?
I can't remember, but I remember at the moment. But I can't remember which tournament.
And she was like, don't pretend with me or something. They don't like each other. She thinks badly of Iga Świątek. So I think that...
Was Iga pretending? Or Iga said to Danielle, don't pretend.
Like,
oh, yes. And then Danielle was like, bro,
no,
what?
So Iga was telling Danielle she hopes like her injury is okay or feel better or something like that. Iga was like, I don't need your pity. She said something basically like telling her to F off, essentially, was the gist of it. Like, don't fake it with me. I know that you don't mean it. It's not genuine. And I think that I can't speak to what happens in the locker room. I can't speak to what people are feeling because we're not there. But from watching Świątek over the years, her mousy personality and soft-spokenness and like, it doesn't really match the gamesmanship. It doesn't really match.
That makes people feel like you're not a real person.
Yeah. And I think that like, for example, the whole thing that happened with the double bounce with Navarro at...
unacceptable.
In the quarterfinals. Here's the thing about that. I'm not sure I would lump it in with the rest of the unsportsmanlike actions just because... I really do think that those umpires that are sitting up there need to be doing more than what they're doing.
Umpires need to do their job.
What are you doing up there? Why am I, the player, supposed to stop the point when you are the umpire?
And something as like visible as a double bounce.
Yeah. But Iga was given the point because the umpire said Navarro should have stopped the play immediately and get the call reversed. I do think that the better thing for Iga to do in that situation would be to concede the point to Navarro, knowing very well that it was a double bounce. But I think it opens up the conversation about how double bounces should be treated. because I don't think it's fair for the player to have to stop the point. Because the thing is, you're also taught as a player to play just in case. And you don't know if it's out, hit the ball anyway. You don't know.
And then that's when the umpire is supposed to be like,
come
hey,
in. Yeah,
that was
or
out.
the linesman
I
is
saw
call.
it. I don't know where the umpires be looking. I don't know if they need to get their vision checked.
Something.
Is everybody seeing 2020?
They literally have a bird's eye view.
You have a bird's eye view. You have a little iPad. You have replays available to you. Get it together. Because there've just been so many instances, and I think the players are also starting to get fed up. Recently, what's his name? Riley Opelka. He straight up said in a press interview that this, he spoke out against the umpire and said that he does not know how to do his job and he's the worst umpire, and that all the players have been talking about it in the locker room.
To be fair, that particular umpire, Gregory Allensworth, has a history of controversial decisions.
He's the worst of them all.
He had the thing at Indian Wells. He had the thing with Zverev, I think something about a disputed line call, and he gave him a code violation. Then in DC at City Open, he's
always at the scene of the crime.
2024, he had something with Daniil Medvedev. Yeah.
No, he's always at the scene of the crime. And then what I found very interesting that Riley said is that the umpires get their same paycheck. They don't get fined for doing the wrong thing. So there's really no incentive for them to be improving, no matter how much the players complain. But the players are the ones who get fined if they then speak out or or they lose money if it's like a really deciding point.
Yeah, he's facing possible disciplinary pending the ATP review, and I just feel like...
Who, Riley?
Mm-hmm.
Because of speaking out? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're not supposed to speak out against the referees of your organization.
And that's fine, but what penalties do the umpires face when they make bad calls? Or when
None.
I feel like there should be maybe like a
They're just
tribunal. Tribunal is really aggressive. I don't know why I said that. But there should be like maybe a committee or like a panel that reviews some of these very egregious calls that these umpires make. Just something that, keeps them a bit on their toes.
It's like, okay, maybe it's not. But there seems to be very little standard for the umpires. And I think that would make the game way more fair if they were held to some kind of standard. Just like the players are held to very high standards. And it's a very emotional game. A lot of mind games going on. The players are expected to hold it together no matter what.
I think it's just a bit too lenient on the umpires. I just don't think that they're afraid to do the wrong thing. Speaking of the wrong thing,
let's talk about hygiene.
This is just really going to sound like I'm just piling on Iga Świątek, and it's really not that.
But she's done a lot. It's been like a good month and a half of tennis. She's done so much. We got to talk about it all.
She used a towel, cleaned the floor of the Australian Open court. I think I don't know what was on the floor. I don't know what was there. Let's just say it was water, even if it was water.
It was probably sweat.
Or bird poop. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was.
But
there literally could have been anything on the floor. She took the towel, cleaned the floor, cleaned her legs, and then her face with the same portion of the towel. You know what I mean? She didn't even adjust the part of the towel she was holding.
No, and then she flung that bitch back to the ball boy. I would have...
No, the ball boy.
I would have... Ooh, I'm not touching that. That's nasty. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? I don't know. She was crashing out. That was all part of the crash out. That is not normal behavior. It was in the match against Madison Keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where Maddie shocked her.
I actually can't think about this anymore.
And really she was crashing out already. She knew it was over. But anyway.
I don't think she knew it was over. Madison Keys saved match point.
She did actually.
She did a lot. I think Iga thought she was going to win that match.
I really love that she didn't.
Yeah.
Great moment.
Although a lot of people were hoping for a Sabalenka-Świątek final. They've never met in the final of a major. And so people were really looking forward to that.
I mean, to get to the final, you got to be a finalist. So clearly.
That'll do it.
Iga couldn't do it.
At least it gives tennis fans something to continue to look forward to. And yeah, those are my musings on Iga Świątek. I don't hate her. But I just think that she's not my type of player.
She also just makes it hard to like her.
Yeah, she's not very likable.
Like the shadow boxing.
Not very personable.
Shadow swinging.
She doesn't play at the service
trying to distract
plays.
Maddie when it was her serve.
The Notebook.
Like, okay, Shakespeare. What you writing in there?
It's really hell.
Poems?
And just really not, it's not cool. But yeah. Any matchpoint musings for you?
We need to talk about Alcaraz because he's on the up. He's been running like Montoya up and down that court.
Montoya, por favor. Tranquilo, Montoya.
¿Por qué?
¿Tú sabes por qué?
No, some of the points that he put together in Rotterdam. Oh, wait. Have you seen how they abbreviate Giovanni and Petchi Percard? GMP?
Oh, like his initials?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it just looks cool. Like when I'm on YouTube watching like a little highlights and I see them say GMP, I'm like, it's kind of cute. Who's in the final of Rotterdam?
Carlos and Daminar. The head-to-head is 2-love.
They're also saying that Daminar is in his peak right now. And he's going to continue to rise.
I mean, he's definitely peaking.
Thoughts on that?
I think that Daminar has a ceiling. I think that he's definitely a top 10 player. Is he a top 5 player? I don't know if I'd say that. Is he ever going to be world number 1? Probably not.
Let's see if he can shot at that ceiling. I do wish that he did this peaking last year when we were at the French Open and he played Alexander Zverev.
Who's that?
Diminar.
I know who Diminar is. Who's the other guy?
Yeah.
No, I think he has a good game, but I don't know how it holds up against the 3 at the top.
I think he's expanding his game and learning how to hit big instead of just being a defensive player. So let's see how far he can take it, because if he can continue, his defensive skills are like unlike any other.
Very, very good.
He might be able to get a few wins. I don't know if he'll be able to sustain that, because Carlos also is super good on defense, but then
Carlos is not usually this good indoor hard court. So this has been very interesting to see. It's not really his strength, but he's been playing very well this week, albeit with some lapses in concentration. But
would it be Carlos Alcaraz if he didn't just like drop a set?
He needs to get serious though.
Get serious, because he could play much shorter matches if he just got it done in 2.
That's a fact.
And that would be way more sustainable for him long term on, the stress on his body. I don't know what his obsession is with going 5 setters. It's like he wants to be a gladiator.
Yeah, maybe he loves us fans so much he wants us to see more.
He does like to put on a show.
He does.
He likes to make a comeback. He likes to have a few dramatic points.
For sure.
He likes to go down into his little, I'm sad, I'm
1000%.
just down and sad, and then you see me come back and
then he points to his ear.
And he's like, I was going to do it.
And bares his teeth.
Meanwhile, you be in the stands or at home having a heart attack.
Exactly. Throwing up, screaming, sliding down the wall.
Screaming, crying, and throwing up.
What are your thoughts on the cowboy photo shoot they did in Dallas?
I mean, it's Texas.
It is Texas.
It is Texas. And I think, it's like when they go to Singapore or Thailand and they're trying to I think that's what brings tennis into the culture of each city that they take the tour to.
I thought it was
so it's cute and it's nice.
It would have been cuter if all the American men didn't crash out of the tournament, but
that was so crazy. It was like Fritz. Who else? Paul. Opelka.
Tommy Paul. Tiafoe.
Yeah.
Tommy Paul losing to Denis Shapovalov in straight sets.
It didn't sit right with me.
I think he needs to break up with his girlfriend.
You think so? Mm-hmm. But you don't think Fritz needs to break up with his?
No, we love Morgs. And we don't want to date Fritz.
True. You can have him, Morgs.
More power to you.
Keep him. No, but Morgs and Fritz seem to work well.
They're very cute.
She gets it. She gets what he's trying to do. She supports. But she also gets her own. And she's doing so well.
Yeah.
What's the other girl's name?
Paige Lorenz.
Yeah. Shapeshifter. We don't know who she is, really and truly.
Yuck. Anyway.
Moving along.
Circling back, another musing I have, which I found quite amusing, was Danielle Collins telling the Australian Open fans to kiss her ass.
That was cute and so Danielle Collins. Like nobody else could do that. They could try.
She got like 6 sponsorship offers right after that. And she told the crowd, like, you guys are adding to my money. Then she took that vacation.
And then she said she's going on a 5-star vacation.
And she sure did.
To the Bahamas.
Djokovic said he liked it.
That's like Joko. He loves that energy.
Yeah.
He's like, they're giving it to you, give it back to them.
Yeah.
I think he respects that.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
you stand up for yourself. Because I think he can also just relate to the crowd, like really coming down on you. And
for sure. I want us to step into the players box. There's something that needs to be discussed. But before, Darren Cahill is retiring at the end of this season. So Yannick Sinner will be having to find a new coach. He claims he's going to try and beg him, but he believes that coaches are only effective with players for 5 years. And after the 5-year window, it's time for a change.
Who believes that?
Cahill.
I think it probably is true.
I mean, he's retiring anyway. That's not why he's leaving, Yannick. But he did speak about that. I thought that was interesting. Elena Rybakina. And her on and off again coach, who is currently suspended.
It's been a big topic of discussion for her.
What is concerning to me is that Elena herself announced her split with him at the U.S. Open 2024. After the split, the WTA, I guess, received several official complaints about Vukov, and they launched an official investigation. Elena announces to us that she is now working with Goran, an ex-member of Djokovic's team, and everybody is super excited about it. They're like, wow, what a great move for her.
Turning a new leaf.
She's getting this toxic guy out of her box. Like, that was a really dangerous relationship. And then Elena announces that Vukov will be joining her team again for the 2025 season. I don't believe Goran was aware of this. He found out like we found out. And then, embarrassingly, for I don't know who, maybe everyone, including us, the fans, WTA is like, Vukov is under provisional suspension, so he can't get credentials. He can't go with you.
So he been out the box.
She refutes the allegations against him and says he's never mistreated her. After Australian Open, Goran leaves the team. It was a trial, to be fair. He said he will not be moving forward with her. He wishes her all the best. She signs a new coach, and then a small footnote to the new coach signing is that coach is in communication
with Vukov.
That's it.
It's giving she's being controlled, but like, let's wait and see, I guess. You know, like when you stand up against your abuser and then you kind of like feel scared that they're going to get in so much trouble. So you try to like backtrack on it. That's what this has felt like.
So it could be that. It could also be that they're in a very toxic, codependent love relationship. Where they're also dating. And she announced that she was breaking up with him on some like, take that. I
could also see that being the case because she does.
They have very intense
Remember
moments.
when she was in Italy and she was like, why the fuck are you speaking Italian? They seem pretty intense. And that's not, I don't think, how one would speak to a coach.
Or shouldn't speak to a coach.
Yeah.
Unless you're Andy Murray or Djokovic.
That's your partner and y'all just having a domestic dispute on the court.
So I don't know. I actually, the jury's still out for me as to what it is. It looks very much like it could be abuse on his end and she could very much be a victim. It could also be some sort of domestic.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. I guess we have to wait and see what pans out of it. But, also Medvedev split with Gilles Simon after a year together. I'm not sure why, but.
One thing about me is I don't know what anybody's coach's name.
We have to do some Court Couture and talk about Destiny Aiva.
And I just knew when I saw the dress, I was like, archive. Vintage.
Yeah, she
They don't do like that anymore.
no.
Stella, come back.
She sourced them off of eBay and like Depop and stuff. And she says that she has built a collection of about 6 throwback kits, and she plans to wear more as like her career goes on.
Women in sustainability.
Yeah, she wore a pink Nike kit that Sharapova wore during the 2012 U.S. Open in her first match at the Australian Open. So Iowa wore it in her first match.
Yes,
at the Australian Open. It was not Sharapova's first match. And then in her second match, she wore a 2020 Ivanovic dress by Adidas. And yeah, she said she enjoys wearing those unique outfits despite their age because she thinks.
Wait, no, it wasn't an Ivanovic dress. It was Caroline Wozniacki's dress, the Stella McCartney Adidas one.
I'm not sure.
Maybe that was her third round dress because she did last 3 rounds.
In her second match, she wore an Ivanovic dress.
I do remember that name coming up as well. Speaking of, Marta Kostyuk's full outfit for Australian Open, the red jacket, the red dress, the red this, the red bag, looked so fire.
They don't miss with her.
And I think she also doesn't miss with them. She's like, we need to do this.
They have a very collaborative relationship.
We need to do this well because they also did like her wedding dress. So I mean, I would say like that's one of the best partner brand collabs right now in tennis is Wilson and Marta Kostyuk, and also Wilson and Alicia Parks. I do think Parks needs to demand more of them. Custom kits. But also she needs to be winning for that to happen, you know?
Yes, because why would I give you a custom kit for you to lose in qualifying?
Because she looks cute. And a lot of like Wilson sales, I think, just come from girls wanting to look cute. But yeah, you also need to be winning. Tiafoe's girlfriend also has a Wilson. Well, she modeled for them. I don't know if it's a deal. Hopefully there's residuals because he been crashing out.
Early.
Okay, so guys, Bams did something this week that I actually never thought would happen.
What was that?
It was a Tuesday morning, and I just received a text that she bought Adidas tennis clothes.
Oh my God. Now you put it
and I was like, I had to question.
Did you think I was kidnapped?
I was like, first of all, who's texting me this?
Texting me?
It has to be somebody else because all the things that we've spoken about, we have called for the executives of Adidas to be arrested and jailed because what they have done to these players on the court.
That's true.
Last year's U.S. Open was a crime. It was really a criminal offense.
That's really bad.
But guys, Bems has still turned around and given them her money. So let's see how that turns out.
First of all, they have some nice things. Not everything is bad. And I got let me just break it down for you. I have a very, very, very cute Stella McCartney Adidas collab tennis dress.
Stella's the only one that does well at Adidas. When she steps in.
However, I don't have a pair of Adidas sneakers to wear with it. So when I wear it, I usually have to wear my Nike sneakers.
Here come the excuses, guys.
And I don't like mixing.
Here it come.
I don't like mixing. So I went online to buy a pair of Adidas sneakers to wear with my Stella McCartney dress. And while I was doing so, I just so happened to see some other dresses that weren't half bad. So I was like, am I going to buy this pair of Adidas sneakers to just wear with this one dress? Or am I going to buy this pair of Adidas sneakers and have other options of outfits and skirts and tops and dresses to wear it with? So I just got a couple pieces.
We're going to see how that goes. I definitely want to see them on.
Mind you, Nike has never paid me to wear their clothes before.
They
so
should,
this Nike
though.
loyalty.
They should. At this point.
This Nike loyalty is actually costing me money. Actually.
I mean, me personally, I've kind of gone deeper down the Wilson route. I got a few new dresses. Now I got the shoes. So that seems to be my brand of choice personally. I do like how supportive the Wilson dresses are. Even though they look cute,
good for
they
them.
Actually work well. And so
very functional.
I'm going to keep coming back.
I like Wilson dresses a lot. They don't have that wide of a catalog though.
They don't, but they've been releasing more.
Yeah.
They've been releasing more colorways, more variations of the skirts. So I just want to see how the Adidas stuff fits and what the fabric is like because I've tried it on before. And this like high tech,
Climacool, I think it's called. Is their version of Dry Fit?
Their version of Dry Fit.
It's Climacool.
Is not very stretchy, and so it almost gives like you have to tailor the dress.
I probably will be doing that, yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Will you tell me if you have to tailor it, or are
Yeah.
you just gonna show up cute?
No, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'm gonna try them on and see.
Because I want the real review.
I'll give you a real review.
Don't show up looking cute and be like, yeah, it worked.
Perfect. Made for me. No. Yeah, no. What I do like about the Adidas dresses though is that they come with shorts. The Nike dresses do not. You have to go buy.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
The Wilson ones also come. They have different ones, and they say lined or unlined.
I only own one Wilson dress. It's the neon one from last year's U.S. Open, and I had to buy the shorts and the sports bra to go under it. But I don't mind because you can also wear the sports bra and the shorts as an outfit on its own. I don't do that though.
But some girls do.
But some girls, I'm a little too thick.
Sabalenka be on the court in pants, trousers.
No, but yeah, I want to bring up a Deuce debate with you.
Let's hear it.
As somebody who has a tougher time keeping their cool, especially in competitive environments.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of tempers boiling over.
Yeah.
On court, and I want to know your thoughts. I'll give you the two. I'll give you the two examples that I have for today's Deuce debate. I also want to say that I chose these two because they're different. One of them is actually tempers, and the other one is kind of an accident. So the first one I want to talk about is Arthur Fils and Sabeth Wild. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but I don't care to pronounce correctly because he's a woman beater. So they had some disputes on court. I think it was Arthur hit a volley. Sabeth Wild tried to block it. The umpire said that Sabeth Wild's racket hit it. He's saying it didn't hit it, and he wanted Arthur to tell the guy that he didn't hit it. But
yes,
Arthur did not. And then there was another
remember.
thing where Arthur served the ball, hit the ball. Sabeth challenged it.
Because Arthur's ball was out. So the umpire was saying that it went out off of Sabeth Wild's racket.
Yeah.
Right. The next
or whether
one
it was out or not, it hit the racket.
Yeah.
The next one, the other thing was, I don't know what order this happened in, but the other incident that happened during that match was Sabeth Wild tried to challenge, I believe, and then tried to withdraw the challenge, but the umpire obviously wasn't having that because, like, I'm not an idiot. Do you know what I mean? And so it became like a thing. At the end of the match, which Arthur Fils won, at the handshake, Sabeth Wild like yokes him up at the net basically and like grabs his hand really aggressively. And then Arthur is like, hey, yo, what are you doing?
I'm not the one.
I'm not the one. Tries to come around the net. The coaches, so Sabeth Wild's coach starts telling Arthur this was Davis Cup, right?
It was Davis Cup, so there were country teams.
So it was country teams
and
and the coaches
on
were on the court. And so at the net, the coaches, after Sabeth Wild does that to Fils is like, what the hell? And you have to shake the coach as well. So when he's shaking the coach is telling him he's sorry. He doesn't mean it, he's sorry. Arthur Fis's coach guides him away. Fils puts his things down and is going back over to Sabeth Wild, goes back over to Sabeth Wild and is like, don't try that with me. Sabeth Wild is like walking away from him. Then Sabeth Wild puts his things down, like he's ready to square up. Umpire comes off his chair to try and like mediate, and then everybody goes to Fils. And I didn't like that.
I didn't like the optics. I didn't like how it went down. And I think Fils has every right to set the tone.
Unfortunately for Fils, Sabeth Wild is Brazilian.
They racist as hell.
And have a very big population on Twitter. So Fils was getting a lot of racist hate, a lot of, nasty comments. So that's the first example of an on-court scuffle. The second example was also Davis Cup. Chile versus Belgium. Deuce Bergs versus Christian Garin. Deuce Bergs.
This one I didn't see, actually. Tell me about it.
So Deuce Bergs gets a critical break. Is excited, jumping on the changeover, bumps into Garin, knocks him to the ground.
Oh, wait, no. I definitely saw this, but I didn't know who they were, but I saw it.
Yes.
Sorry. Sorry, guys, I went a little bit too loud. Our production team is looking at me funny.
Yeah. So
That one was crazy because did you not see him standing there?
I don't think he did. I think he was actually like jumping for joy. He was so happy.
Ugh.
But the thing is, not for nothing, Chile dragged that though. They said he attacked him. They said they should
did
get
too much.
They said they should get an automatic wild card into the finals.
Relax.
They said that no, because basically, so let me tell you what happens. After this, obviously, Garin is like he can't see. His eye is bruised.
He acted like a football player.
He literally.
You know when you see a football player running, next thing they roll on the ground.
He took
out
a
of
medical
nowhere.
timeout. Then they came to the people came out to look at him. He said he can't continue playing. But then the medical person that came out, I don't know what they call, trainer, on court people, whatever. They're like, he's good to play. So he's refusing to play. So then the umpire gives him a default game violation, and then they lose the match. Because remember, Zizou had broken. So he was going to be serving for the match. And so when he got the time violation, aka game default thing, I think it was two time violations which gave him the default.
Yeah.
Then Belgium won, and now they're into the next round, and Chile is not having it. And
they're
getting riled up.
I think being good to play doesn't mean that what happened didn't cause damage to him. You know what I mean? So I do think
the umpire's argument was that Zizou did not hit him intentionally.
I don't think that matters. You have damaged the other player.
If it was a ball kid, they would have defaulted him immediately.
You ran into a ball kid, like you didn't see him standing there, jumping for joy or not.
Yeah, they would have defaulted him.
You could hit a ball, and if it hits a ball kid, and
default.
Default. If it hits a crowd member, like in the face, some kind of thing, even if you didn't mean to, why are you hitting a ball like that into the stands?
Very strange. So my thing and my Deuce debate is, to what extent do we want to regulate on-court behavior and on-court expression? On one hand, we have Sabeth Wild expressing his frustration at the net. And then we have Arthur Feast responding his frustration at the expression of frustration. Then we have Zizou Bergs ecstatic, jumping for joy, literally bounding off the court, bumping into someone else at his expression. To what extent are these expressions necessary for tennis to become like, or to maintain its like allure and excitement
and entertainment value?
And what extent are they harmful, and should they be regulated?
I mean, it's only harmful when someone gets harmed.
Right. That'll do it.
Because like,
no, that's it. I think we can wrap the episode here. That's it.
It's finished.
Mic drop.
Only harmful when someone gets harmed. Like, no, with Arthur Feast, I think Sabeth Wild, while he didn't cause harm, he was trying to rough up our boy, and Arthur Feast couldn't stand for that. I think the line is definitely when you like physically altercate or interact with someone in a negative way. Also, running into them when they're clearly in front of you and you're jumping for joy. You didn't see him there? I don't know how that was not intentional. It wasn't.
It honestly didn't look intentional. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No,
and the hit didn't really look that bad either.
There has to be a word for when maybe your intention wasn't to damage them, but you saw him standing there. You jumped. What did you just jump into him?
So manslaughter versus murder.
Yes.
Got it.
Actually, yes. You know what? Hell yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So in the Zizou Bergs thing, I think he should have been defaulted.
Yeah.
In the Sabeth Wild thing,
I mean, Feast already won.
I think there should have been some penalty on Sabeth Wild.
Fine.
Something.
You can't rough up a player at the net like that, especially not Arthur Feast.
That's the same thing that had Alicia Parks about to fight on the court when that girl squeezed her
And
head.
she would have been right.
And her dad ran up on the court. Yes.
Because actions mean things.
But I feel like with Feast specifically, fine ass Feast. Sorry, it wasn't the time for that. But
time and place.
When he had that quote unquote altercation with Zverev, the umpire went to him. When this guy basically assaulted him, for lack of better words, roughed him up, yoked him up, whatever you want to call it.
Threatened him.
And
that's a threat.
And he was defending himself. The umpire went to him.
And at some point, Feast is going to realize and be like, He probably has already. That in all these instances, he's being held to a higher standard of behavior unfairly compared to his opponents who are the aggressors.
100%. 100%. So yeah.
They need to do something about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think that the expression and stuff like that keeps it interesting. Like Spicy talks at the net. Like when Fritz told that guy, enjoy your flight home. And he was like, oh, I'm still playing doubles.
Yeah. You can say what
so
you
funny.
want, but don't threaten people. Don't curse at them. But you have to get creative with it. Get spicy. Get really like cheeky with it.
But don't grab somebody's arm.
Especially not Arthur Fils.
And I love great celebrations and stuff, but don't knock over your opponent on the changeover.
Run into them.
He's young though.
Yeah.
Christian,
Boys be like that.
The way that Chileans
Boys
responded,
like that.
they said he was attacked brutally. We can't understand. I said, guys,
Relax.
guys,
Relax.
let's be calming down. Let's be calming down.
I just want to add also that Arthur Fils looks like he would throw hands. And so
win.
y'all need to stop.
He looks like he would win too.
Because that's not going to be good for his career and we need to focus. So y'all need to stop aggravating and provoking
antagonizing
my guy.
our sweet baby.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, some Networthy news. Coco Gauff has launched the Coco Gauff Scholarship Program, where she's donated $100,000
to HBCUs,
historically black colleges and universities in the United States of America. She says her family has a rich history with the HBCUs, and she's looking forward to giving back to continue those, especially in this age where the current administration of the United States is looking to cancel DEI.
That's diversity,
has canceled
equity, and inclusion initiatives.
Across the board. So shout out to Coco. She's always on the right side of history. If you ask me, like, you can say whatever you want about Coco Gauff, but you cannot take away her conviction and her dedication to doing what she believes is right and standing up at all times.
One thing about Coco is she knows where she's come from. She recognizes why she is in the position that she's in, and she doesn't let that take away from the fact that yes, you work really hard, but you also have to pay it forward. And she does it with such grace. She makes it look easy.
For sure.
She makes it look like it's just a part of who she is and what she's here to do. That's part of her purpose. I'm here to win. I'm here to play tennis. I'm also here to make sure that more people can come into the sport. And that's exactly what she's doing with this grant/scholarship to the HBCUs. Yeah. She's also very good at recognizing where the gaps are.
And does her best to step into them. I really...
With grace.
Like... She's always going to be a fave of mine on and off the court. Like
she could even lose, and I'm still like,
I'm really inspired by her. I'm really inspired by her. Yeah.
But that will never happen. So you guys don't even try it.
This year's ATP WTA Cincinnati Open 1,000 level tournament has been expanded. It's
now 3 weeks?
It's actually not
It's a month?
it's
How could they expand the 1,000 level tournaments?
It's
even
stretching
more?
its schedule to 14 days with a Monday final.
A Monday final? Is that good for TV?
Qualifying starting on Tuesday, finals on Monday. It negatively impacts other tournaments. And then the events are just going on for too long. This tennis schedule is already so packed. I feel like it just dilutes the match quality, the experience. I really do not believe that Masters need to be this long. I think that we're going to look back one day and think, probably shouldn't have done that change.
Should not. I mean, the players are already saying it. It's not good for them. I do think that there'll be a point where this experiment will be over and we'll go back to some kind of sense. One thing I want to say is, and I hate to say this, but
you're going to say it anyway.
There are consequences for your actions. Maria Sakkari, you will not lift a trophy. Because you were so thirsty to be at Donald Trump's inauguration. Why were you there? You have to practice.
What I've come to realize, and probably should have clicked to me a while ago, tennis is a conservative ass sport.
They red as hell.
And so tennis players, by and large, are very conservative. Look at our boy Ben Shelton. He is a MAGA Republican.
Please don't bring it up.
All right, we'll move on.
I have to ignore it to maintain some semblance of like adoration here.
Pam Shriver evacuated her home during the tragic wildfires in California. Packed all her trophies into a Durango. And and the car was stolen.
A Durango? Girl.
Yeah, I think it was like it was a Hellcat.
Okay.
It was something.
A little swag there.
Yeah, it was an American car, but I think it was zooped up.
Okay.
Black. It was stolen with all her trophies. She's gotten the trophies back. Okay. It was all 11.
The car?
It was all 11 of her Grand Slam trophies, but they have not gotten the cars back. No, the car back. No.
At this
time, last time I checked,
we have to say like what has gone on in Los Angeles was devastating.
Definitely.
And quite a few players out there.
You have a family home there as well.
Yeah, we were spared.
It got really close at a point.
It got really close. My
Grateful
family did have to evacuate. But I do know there are a few players who live there, so I was thinking about what are they doing? Are their homes okay?
To be on tour while that's happening must be...
Yeah. Naomi Osaka spoke about it. She was like, she sent someone to pick up her daughter's passport and important documents because, it was out of control. So I'm wondering if that affected her during the Australian Open, because it was in her post-match interview that she spoke about having to basically release her home. Like you just have to release it.
Yeah, mentally and emotionally.
Because you don't know what's going to happen. The fires were spreading fast.
Very fast.
And that was very unfortunate. And a lot of people had their cars stolen because people would drive their cars away with the intention of saving the car from the fire. And then it just ended up with cars all over the city abandoned, some burnt if the fire spread that far. But I'm glad she got back the trophies, though.
Yeah, I'm glad. What I will say is I have seen a lot of community showing up for each other, banding together in these moments, and I think that's really nice. Mm-hmm. I think some people would say something like, oh, well, what's a trophy to someone's home? Or, but I think that people are allowed to grieve their things or want to have their things. And so, yes, I'm not saying that her trophies being stolen or her car being stolen amounts to the people who have lost their homes and things like that. But I do think that it was probably traumatizing for her, and I'm glad that she was able to get those back.
And I do think in the end, Naomi's house was spared, if I remember correctly.
I didn't hear anything about her losing it, so I'm going to assume.
So
the last and final bit of Networthy news is the protester who disrupted the Australian Open trophy ceremony right before Zverev, who lost yet again, began to speak. And she said, Australia believes Olga, Australia believes Brenda, referencing the two women that have come out with domestic violence allegations against Zverev. And I thought that was so impactful.
She did what needed to be done.
What the ATP has not been able... Do you know that today the ATP does not have a domestic violence policy?
Not a single one. They have not managed to sit down and say, this is our stance when it comes to the men that we empower and pay and put in positions of influence. There are no rules when it comes to that. And it's just very tone deaf. And it means that the ATP is not willing to accept that this is an issue in sports.
Definitely.
Where you have these men who have a lot of power, a lot of money, a lot of influence over younger kids, not really having to stand by anything.
Exactly.
None of the players have had to say that they stand against domestic violence. Some of them have, because that's just what they believe. But if you're a whole tour of men, I believe that there needs to be an official
He was
stance.
put on the Players' Council. He was
on the Players' Council. And then when she said what she said in protest, he basically laughed it off in his speech.
No. He addressed it in his post.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like in the speech, he was just like, Like, you know what I mean? Like, didn't really address it in the speech itself.
No, yeah, I didn't even see him acknowledge it. He was just quiet. People started booing, and then he spoke. In the post presser, he said something like...
Basically called her crazy.
Yeah, he was like, there haven't been allegations in months. Da, 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 da. She said that she specifically went to stand by the media because she wanted people to hear her. She wanted to be heard. She was escorted out quite roughly. And, you know, even if you look at what happened when Morgan posted, you know, those things that she had to come back and give the statement that, it wasn't about Zverev or whatever, when we all know that it was. You know, I think that there's a certain level...
Because Fritz won for the girlies.
and continues to do so. I think there's a certain level of pushing it under the bed that the establishment is trying to do.
Under the rug.
Sure. And I feel like, I saw a clip recently from, was it Laver Cup when Opelka passed that comment when they said something about Zverev and he was like, they said
that endeared me to Opelka.
They said Zverev said something and he was like, well, he also said he didn't do it. So
that was so funny.
I was like, oh my God. So obviously, like, and everybody laughed.
There are discussions about this, and that's why I said some players, because they know what's right, they have let their stance be known. But as a tour, as an organization, as an institution of a major global sport, there needs to be an official stance. Something more. Because it's not just serve.
And they give statements about everything else.
Listen,
like there's always something like, look at this thing that happened when Tom Jones, the broadcaster in Australia, was mocking, quote unquote, mocking Djokovic. Djokovic's supporters, they were like cheering for him. They're like, Djokovic is overrated. Djokovic has been. Get him out of here, whatever.
And Djoko did his little protest.
Djokovic said he's not doing on-court interviews because the main broadcaster is the broadcaster that the guy works for. Tennis Australia is now quickly giving statements and and they're doing. And I'm like, for this. But not for domestic violence and violence against women.
It's basically that these women are invisible to the ATP.
But
Djokovic, their big number one, is not. And Zverev, their number two, is not.
I will say that the Tom Jones thing I thought was inappropriate of him to do. I don't think, and I'll say this, it would work in any other sport. Stephen A. Smith can do it about basketball.
He could...
Skip Bayless can do it whatever he wants. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what tennis is.
That's not what tennis is. That's not the tennis culture. Because those are team sports.
And I don't think...
Those are team sports. This is an individual sport. It's too much.
And I don't think that he would have done that to Rafa or Federer.
Absolutely not.
And I think Djokovic deserves more respect than he's given. He absolutely does. And I think that it's also not accurate to call him a has-been. You actually can't.
Current.
Like, you can't say that. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not a Djoko apologist. I'm not like...
He was in the semifinal.
But like, why are you doing this?
Y'all are
I
lying.
thought that was wrong. But anyway, that's another tangent. I just feel like the woman who spoke out, it was important because it started a conversation. Be it some people were just chastising her. Other people that didn't know what she was talking about got to know what she was talking about.
Exactly.
But it shouldn't have to come to that.
It kept the story alive, which needs to happen, because I do believe that while these men may not be reprimanded in an official way,
the fans can
absolutely stand on it.
And I think Zverev knows.
He knows.
That he's no fan favorite.
He's not liked.
He's no fan favorite.
Yeah, and then I think the tennis journalists just have to do better, because one thing about Stephen A. Smith, if he's going to clown you, he's clowning you based on stats. He'll make it funny.
Mario Chalmers.
Get Bronny out the league.
To be honest, though, that's not necessarily
because he hasn't been putting up the numbers. No, he does bring the numbers in.
Then when did he bring the numbers in about Zion Williamson and him eating too much? When he said that the restaurants in New Orleans are happy to see him coming.
He's so wild.
What are you talking about? Don't do that. You giving him too much.
No, but again, different culture, not acceptable in tennis. I would say also the discussions on Twitter, when these things happen, the other side always shows their ass. Like, why do they now resort to fat shaming, body shaming this woman for what she's done? Like, that's the only thing that they could come at her with. And so it really showed that these people have nothing to stand on. No morals, no values. They don't know what's right from wrong.
I agree. I think that there's like how do you say this? There's no rhyme or reason to the way that they choose to handle certain things. It's like kind of selective bias.
And people just hate women. And this is how it manifests itself.
Definitely.
Unfortunate, but the world we live in.
But we are going to be the change that we want to see. That's right.
Period.
Okay, well, let's talk about what's next on tour. On the ATP side, we have Delray Beach, which is the 250. We have the tournament, the 250 in Marseille. We have the Buenos Aires Argentina Open, which is also a 250. There's the Qatar Open in Doha, which is a 500. We have the Rio Open in Brazil, which is also a 500. On the WTA side, we have the Qatar Total Open, which is a WTA 500. And we also have the Dubai Tennis Championships, which is a WTA 500. Those are happening in the next 2 weeks. Excited to see how the girlies get on in the Middle East. I saw Świątek and Sabalenka already there warming up. I don't believe that Osaka is going to play. Unfortunately, I think she's still dealing with her back injury.
I want to see Jasmine Paolini do something.
Yeah?
Because she did something last year, right? That was kind of the start of her incredible run.
Against Kalinskaya, right?
Yeah.
In the final, yeah. Correct.
She won a 1,000 early last year, and that's kind of what set her on that up and up trajectory. She didn't do too well at the Australian Open, but I'm hoping that, this Middle Eastern swing. I feel like
Australian Open is always a bit wonky for people.
Yeah, but this Middle Eastern swing, I want to see big things from her. She was there practicing against Coco.
Oh.
So, yeah, she posted on her Instagram her practice.
I didn't see that.
Court level practice.
Black Girl Magic? Huh?
Yeah, they were hitting.
I love that.
Doha's inside, right? Qatar, sorry. Same place. Is outside? Okay. We should go to Qatar.
Okay. Here we go with the travel plans. Next year? Or next week?
When
Decide.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm traveling on Monday. But what I'm looking for in the near future is Indian Wells.
That's your favorite tournament.
Oh, my God. So excited for Indian Wells. It's like the 5th Grand Slam in terms of the prestige. The players love it. It's the most luxe tournament. It's in the middle of Palm Springs, California.
Are you going to tell them that the real reason you like it is because of the Nobu?
They have a Nobu in the stadium, which I think is a game changer. It is not in Stadium 1. It is in Stadium 2. But it is such a vibe to leave an excellent match and then go have some sushi. Ugh.
I love it for you, dear.
Just the whole vibe of Indian Wells is so great, though. Yes. The campus is lovely. The tennis garden. Oh, my God. Tennis paradise, as they call it.
It's a lovely place.
Yeah.
It's a lovely place. So I think with that, that's Game Set Chat. Follow us on Instagram at Serving Up the Teapot and on Twitter at 2gals1serve and on Blue Sky at 2gals1serve as well. We'll catch you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.